Can you tell the jury what happened the night your rental car was bombed?
We were late to an event. I took a call, which I later found out was spoofed. I gave Kathy the keys. She went to get the car. There was an explosion.
But she survived the blast.
She did. I rode with her to Mercy Hospital. She regained consciousness. I told her I loved her, but she died from her injuries on the operating table a few days later.
Who was in charge of the investigation into her death?
NYPD Intelligence Unit.
And how did you become involved?
I'd been investigating Manfredi Sinatra, Richard Wheatley's father, through my work with the NYPD liaison office in Rome. I subsequently raided one of his Brooklyn warehouses that Richard Wheatley operated.
What did you find there?
A copy of my international police ID. I realized right then I was being tracked.
And what led you to suspect that Richard Wheatley was involved?
Richard Wheatley was the boss, and in my experience, the order to greenlight a hit on a police officer, let alone his wife, always comes from the top.
Did you confront Wheatley?
He confronted me. He told me to leave his ex-wife alone. That neither of our women should be collateral damage, to which I said, like my wife.
And how did he respond?
He claimed he was sorry for my loss. He did not deny responsibility for that loss.
Thank you, Detective.
Detective, let me say sincerely how sorry I am for your loss. My task here today is to prove to this jury that there is no proof that my client was in any way responsible for that loss.
I know Wheatley killed my wife.
I know that you believe that today, but didn't you initially believe that Isaac Becker was responsible?
As I said earlier, the order comes from the top. Isaac Becker was only acting on his orders.
Didn't Becker tell you that actually he was acting on Angela Wheatley's orders?
He did try to blame her, yes.
You subsequently arrested her, so you must have believed that, too.
I believe she had some involvement, but I quickly realized that Wheatley had manipulated her.
Yes, she's testified to that, but what's not clear is whether she turned on her ex-husband to get herself a better deal, or to keep herself in your good graces, or both.
Objection. Is there a question here?
Sustained. Move it along, Mr. Barba. And Detective Stabler, only answer the questions you're asked.
Detective Stabler, it seems to me like you're lurching from one suspect to another in a frantic attempt to find someone to accuse.
I am neither lurching nor frantic.
How often do you think about this case? Every week, every month?
Every minute of every day.
Being treated for PTSD?
I was. I am no longer.
But you are familiar with the acronym HALT? Hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
I am.
What about your family? I'm sure this has been stressful for them.
Leave my family out of this.
Just like you did for the last 5 months going undercover?
Objection.
Sustained, Mr. Barba.
I'm trying to ask the detective if his PTSD, his trauma, family problems, his work issues, including watching a member of his unit get shot by his sergeant.
If you're speaking about Detective Morales, his dying confession was that he was paid $200,000 by Richard Wheatley to kill Angela Wheatley.
Your Honor.
Detective Stabler, you've been warned. Just answer the questions you're asked. Jury will disregard.
Since you've opened the door, is there anything you don't blame my client for?
He is to blame. He had Isaac Becker killed. He killed his own father. He had my wife killed.
Move to strike, Your Honor.
Jury will disregard. Watch yourself,
He had
Detective.
someone run my former partner off the road.
Your Honor, will you stop him, or should we wait for him to accuse my client of kidnapping the Lindbergh baby?
Detective Stabler, one more word. I'm holding you in contempt.
How much is Wheatley paying you, Judge?
That's it. Detective Stabler, I'm holding you in contempt. Officers,